Hello, everybody. So just real quick, I always say it real quick and then I'm like talking for like ever. But for real quick. I was listening to one of our recordings for rehearsal. So if you don't know, I sing on the worship team at my church, right? And so I was listening to one of the recordings and I'm listening to myself and I'm like, man, like, why do I keep going flat? So when you go flat, that means you're singing like right up underneath the note, right? So if I'm supposed to be like, and I'm like, I'm singing up underneath the note and it's flat, right? We don't want to do that. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me see why is this happening? Because I find, and I am very aware that it is a privilege for the Lord to choose me to be able to go in front of his people and sing, right? Being on the worship team, any position that you do in the church where you're serving people, like, he didn't have to choose me. And so I want to make sure that I'm doing it in all excellence. I want to make sure that I'm giving my best. And a part of that is figuring out, why do I keep going flat? And so I'm looking it up real quick, and I just, quick Google search, and I find this. I think it was the Atlanta Arts Institute of Music or something like that. But so I'm looking at, why do people go flat? And they said, it could be your vocal cords, you didn't warm up. It could be your posture. It could say like you're not singing from your diaphragm. It said that your breathing technique is off, because you have weak abdominal muscles. And so, of course, as a fitness trainer, I'm like, okay, so the two things that stood out to me, breathing and the weak abdominal muscles. And I'm like, Now, here's the thing. I've heard this before. I took vocal lessons a couple years ago. Like, I've heard these things, but since I have been on this journey of really, really getting to know Jesus and getting closer to him and all these things, he is starting to tie into, like, the things that I've learned and things that I've heard. He's really starting to show me the spiritual aspect of things with what I do in the natural, which is I work out, right? I'm a trainer. And so he's starting to connect these things for me. And so I'm literally like, this literally has been in the past like 45 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So I know that, when you work out, like, you want to, you don't want to be winded. So you do cardio, you build up your cardiovascular health and all that stuff. And I knew that you have to breathe right in order to sing, but I never thought, like, I'm just thinking, when you get up there and sometimes you see people jumping and singing, right? You don't want to run out of breath. So do cardio, because I want to be able to sing and jump and still, like, not be about to pass out, right? But I really didn't consider the fact that I really need to have that breath control, be able to jump and move and stay on my note. Didn't really, for whatever reason, it just didn't click. And so I'm like, okay, so when I am exercising, I'm not just exercising because I'm trying to have my physical body look a certain way, because I want to be able to, and I say this a lot, I exercise because I want to be able to, pick up my kids, take my groceries into the house with one trip. When I get older, I want to be able to get in and out of the car, and all that stuff is very true. But I never really considered what I do in the physical and how it really helps what I do for God, right? My ministry, the gift that he gave me, and how what I do in the physical is really helping that. And so being able to breathe is important. That is now another motivating factor for me. So when I'm up there and I'm exercising, or I'm doing the dance fitness class, and then I'm, jumping around, I'm doing all these things, not only is it helping me physically and what I love to do, but it's helping me to be able to give the gift that God gave me back to him in excellence. So it's more of a motivating factor to, I don't feel like going to the gym. Girl, well, you got to minister on Sunday. You need to get your tail up. You need to make sure that you can produce in excellence, because God is trusting you with this. And the core engagement, same thing. Like, I knew you got to do diaphragm. Like, I knew that, but because it said you have to keep your abdominals engaged at all times. And if you know me, if you ever worked out with me, I'm like, okay, guys, engage your core. When we're working out, keep your core engaged. Like, I say that all the time, but for whatever reason, I did not connect it with singing and not going flat. And so I'm like, man, all this time I've been training my core, my stomach muscles to be strong, but it was never connected with singing. And now it is for me. And so I don't know. It's just like a light bulb went off, and I'm like, okay, it just makes what I do more, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes it more rewarding, because I know that not only am I keeping my body the way it needs to be, so that way God can fully use me, just physically, it's also helping in the gift that he gave me of singing. And I just didn't connect it. I don't know. I don't know. So for all my worship leaders, my singers out there, you know, whether you're on the praise team, whether you're on the choir, whether you sing in the background, whether you sing in the front, whether you just like to sing at home in the shower, you know, exercise. Learn how to engage your core. Build up your cardiovascular health, because that's going to help you to be able to present what God gave you in excellence, because he gives us his best all the time. Like he woke us up. He didn't halfway wake us up. He didn't half do it. Like he gives us his best all the time. So there's no way we can have the audacity to be like, well, I'm just going to get up here and I'm just going to do what I got to do. And no, absolutely not, because he doesn't do that to you. And so it is our job to make sure that we operate in excellence, that we do our best every time, and we go before the Lord with whatever it is that we're doing. It doesn't matter if you're ushering. It doesn't matter if you're just going to work, driving your car, whatever it is. You know, we do all things to the glory of God. So we need to make sure that we are doing everything in excellence. Okay? I think that's all I got for now. I don't know. I might come back on and say something later. But that was it. Let's go be great. Let's take care of our bodies. And let's be excellent in everything that we do. Because everything that we do, we're doing it for God. All right? Peace out.